It's late. The lights are off. You're finally drifting into that heavy, comfortable kind of sleep. And then you feel it. Soft paws pressing into your side. A small weight climbing over your legs. Moving across your chest like it has somewhere important to be. Most people just groan, shift over, and assume the cat wants food or attention or is simply being annoying again. But that assumption might be completely wrong. What looks like a random nighttime disturbance is actually a message. Cats don't waste energy on meaningless movement, especially not in the middle of the night when their instincts are sharpest. Every step they take across your body carries a reason behind it, and some of those reasons go far deeper than hunger. There are several explanations for why this happens, starting with something surprisingly practical, and ending with a reason so emotional, most cat owners never even consider it. So, the next time your cat walks across you at 2 a.m., you might want to remember what you're about to hear, because it's about to change the way you see that little nighttime ritual completely. The first reason is simpler than you'd expect. Your cat is checking that you're still there. Cats are wired to notice the smallest shifts in their environment. Movement, breathing, sound. During the night, when the house goes quiet and everything settles into stillness, their senses actually sharpen instead of shutting off. The slow rise of your chest, the warmth beneath the blanket, the familiar rhythm of your breathing, all of it gets registered, almost like a quiet check-in. It isn't random. It's deliberate. It's their way of confirming that everything is exactly where it should be, that you're still breathing, still present, still part of their world. In the wild, this kind of awareness would mean the difference between safety and danger. Your cat may be domesticated, but that instinct never fully disappeared. It just adapted to fit a bedroom instead of a den. And once that check is complete, something even more interesting tends to happen next. Because for a lot of cats, you're not just a familiar shape in the dark. You're their safest place. Nighttime makes cats more vulnerable than they are during the day, even indoors. On some primal level, darkness still means exposure. And when a cat feels even slightly vulnerable, it looks for warmth, stability, and comfort. There's nothing that offers all three quite like a sleeping human. Your body heat, your steady breathing, the familiar scent of your skin. All of it creates a kind of anchor. That's often why cats gravitate toward your chest or curl up right against your legs. It isn't about invading your space. It's about choosing the one place in the entire house where they feel the most protected. Think about that. That heavy paw pressing into your ribs starts to feel a lot less like an inconvenience and a lot more like quiet trust. And trust, for a cat, usually gets expressed without a single sound. Cats communicate far more through their bodies than through meowing or vocal cues. A slow blink, a gentle headbutt, a tail curled around your arm. These are all forms of language, and walking across your body while you sleep belongs in that same category. It's intentional contact. Sometimes it's a request for attention. Sometimes it's reassurance seeking, almost like your cat is silently asking, "Are we okay?" And sometimes it's simply connection, a way of closing the physical distance between the two of you. Because emotional closeness isn't something a cat can just say out loud. Humans rely on words. Cats rely on proximity, weight, touch. That walk across your body in the middle of the night might be the closest thing to a conversation your cat knows how to have. But here's something most people never notice. Your cat could choose literally anywhere in the house. The couch, the chair, the windowsill. Yet somehow, it keeps choosing you. And that's only part of the message. We're getting closer to the real reason. Because some of this behavior isn't really about you at all. Some of it goes back much further, to instincts inherited from wild ancestors who never slept on a mattress. Before domestication, small wild felines would circle and press down on the ground before settling in, testing the terrain, checking for comfort, making sure the spot felt secure. That ancient habit still lives inside your cat, even though the modern version happens to be a blanket instead of tall grass. This is closely related to another familiar behavior: kneading. That rhythmic pressing motion cats do with their front paws, often on a soft blanket, a pillow, or even you. Both behaviors trace back to the same origin. It's the echo of a wild instinct performed in a completely modern setting. Your cat isn't trying to make a mess of your evening. It's simply running old software in a new environment, one shaped by thousands of years of survival, long before it ever knew what a bed was. If you've ever assumed your cat was just being weird, this next explanation changes everything. Because cats may be reading you far more closely than most people realize. Several behavioral studies suggest that cats are capable of recognizing routines, voices, and even responding differently to human emotional cues. During sleep, when your defenses are down, they're especially in tune with subtle shifts in your breathing pattern or your body's tension. Some cats seem to gravitate toward their owners specifically during moments of stress, illness, or emotional strain, almost like they can sense something is off. Nobody is claiming your cat fully understands human emotion the way another person would. But the connection is real enough that many owners report their cat showing up at exactly the moment they needed comfort the most. If that's true, even some of the time, then that nighttime visit might not be random at all. It might be your cat responding to something in you that you didn't even realize you were showing. That's important. And this next part explains why some cats do this almost every single night without fail. It comes down to scent and belonging. Cats have scent glands in their paws, and every step leaves behind a subtle trace, invisible to us, incredibly meaningful to them. When your cat walks across your body, it isn't just moving from one spot to another. It's marking you, gently, as part of its territory, part of its family, part of what feels safe and familiar. This isn't possession, in the way humans might think of it. It's closer to identity. Cats build a shared scent between themselves and the people and spaces they trust. And by walking over you regularly, your cat is essentially saying, without needing a single sound, that you belong to the same world they do. That nightly walk might be one of the most consistent bonding rituals your cat performs, even if you never noticed it happening. But the most meaningful explanation is still ahead. Because finally, there's a reason that deserves attention, without turning into unnecessary alarm. Sometimes cats respond to changes that aren't obvious to us yet. Their senses are far more attuned to subtle shifts in the body than ours are. A slight rise in temperature, unusual restlessness, irregular movement, even sounds too faint for a human ear to register. This doesn't mean your cat can predict the future or sense something mystical. Here's why it matters. Cats are excellent at noticing change, and sometimes that change is happening in you. Many owners only realized later that their cat had started sleeping on their chest days before they came down with a fever. Others noticed their cat pacing near them, restless, right before a migraine or a bad flare-up they hadn't even felt coming yet. Nobody can say it happens every time, but often enough that it's worth paying attention to. If your cat's nighttime behavior shifts suddenly, becoming more persistent, more anxious, or more insistent than usual, it might be worth checking in on your own health or your surroundings. Not out of fear, just out of awareness. Often, what looks unusual is simply your cat reacting to something it picked up on before you did. So the next time it happens, the next time you feel those soft paws crossing your chest in the dark, that moment is going to feel completely different. It's not always about food. It's not always about attention. Sometimes it's a security check. Sometimes it's comfort seeking. Sometimes it's silent communication, ancient instinct, emotional awareness, or a quiet, invisible bond being reinforced one step at a time. And every once in a while, it might be your cat noticing something about you before you noticed it yourself. Pay attention next time it happens. Notice where your cat pauses, how long it stays, which part of your body it settles near. These small details often carry more meaning than they seem to on the surface, because sometimes the smallest nighttime interruption is actually one of the quietest ways your cat says, "I'm safest when I'm close to you." And once you understand that, those tiny paws may never feel quite the same again. I'm curious, does your cat always walk across your chest, or does it always choose your legs? Tell me below, because there's a lot more hidden in these small moments than most people ever realize. And that's exactly what we'll be exploring next.